What? Are you doing season 2 of that stupid show?
Honey, where are you going?
Where are you going?
Again? Just where are you going?
Where are you going? You're not going to the bar again, are you?
You like hanging out, drinking beer at the bar, talking sports? Come on out and join us weekly. Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, your podcast for just that. Hanging out, drinking some beer, talking sports. It's your boy, Hanger, looking for a beer. Actually, we're all looking for a beer, so if you want to buy the guys a beer, at Guys at the Bar Talking Sports on Venmo. That's it. Easy as drinking a beer. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Hanger with Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. We're a sports show, and then there's sports shows, and then there's Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. The real deal. The sports bar conversation you always wish you can throw your 2 cents into, and you can. You just gotta show up on a Thursday night at MJ's to talk sports. It's Thanksgiving week, and here we are. Not at a bar, though. We're at Vinny's Pizza in Lake Carolina.
It's like an ice cream bar.
Yeah, I think it's like Vinny's Pizza and frozen yogurt shop. So
Call it a frozen yogurt bar.
they have some great shakes in the whole 9 yards, and they got some good pizza. We're going to have some pizza coming over in just a second. But we're going to go ahead and do some introductions real quick. And let's go ahead and start it off with my man. He is returning. It's his 3rd show, and he might even earn himself a mug pretty soon. My man, the Rooster. What are you drinking, Rooster?
Same thing I drink every night. A little bourbon, a little ginger ale.
Nice. Okay.
With the cold weather here in South Carolina, it's helping.
It actually, it should warm you up pretty good, I bet. You could be drinking a shake right now, but you got the bourbon. That's good stuff.
They look delicious, but I'll take my my dessert liquid candy, the old bourbon and ginger ale.
Cheers, man! I'm drinking a Miller Lite tonight, and someone threw this as a conversation starter. Someone threw it in. What are you looking forward to on Thanksgiving for dinner? What's your favorite side? Or what's your favorite part of Thanksgiving dinner? There you go.
Well, it's a two-part answer. So number one is 3 years ago I started frying my turkeys.
Oh, nice.
So I'm crafting, getting that perfected here. So I'm looking forward to. I've got a nice Cajun butter sauce that I'm going to be loading up into the turkey tomorrow. When I pick it up tomorrow, letting that puppy sit overnight in the fridge, and then dumping that in the fryer right about 1 o'clock on Thursday. Can't wait to see what that turns out like.
It takes about 2 hours to cook them?
It's about 3 to 4 minutes per pound at 350 degrees. Make sure your turkey's not frozen. People, safety first.
Okay, so it kind of sucks you only do it it sucks you only do it once a year, and you have to wait a whole year in order to try it again and perfect it a little bit more. But by the time you're like 75, you'll be like the master.
Nailing it.
Although
I did have a family Thanksgiving this past weekend because we're all scattered all over the place, and to get all the family together at once, it's a little difficult. And Saturday was when we could turn it up. So I did have a trial run on this past Saturday, and I turned my stepmother, who is a baking turkey fanatic, into a frying turkey fanatic.
Yeah, I like to smoke them, but frying, I've had that, and it's way better than smoking them. I'll be honest with you. My man, who's your daddy? He came again. Got his Ohio State gear on, ready for Saturday.
Ready for Saturday. And
what are you drinking, Who's Your Daddy?
Who's Your Daddy's got a mocha milkshake.
Wow, on a cold night like
cold
this,
night,
huh?
Probably take a little Miller Lite or Busch Light or something afterwards.
I do have some Miller Lite. I also have some Heineken.
Pizza
if you
now.
prefer that. So
my favorite Thanksgiving dish is my wife makes the best oyster dressing there is.
Oh, does she listen to the show? She's going to hear this, right?
She will.
I've never had oyster dressing. What is
I
that?
love
it's
it.
mean.
I love it.
It's
Oysters mixed in.
Okay.
She had a hard time finding the oysters.
It's like
this year, too.
it's like a gravy with
No,
oyster.
no,
you
just
mix
regular
mix the oysters right into the dressing.
right into the dressing. Stuff
Oh,
it in.
into
Stuffing.
wow.
Yeah, you just cut them up, dice them up. And
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good.
What time are we coming over to your house?
Yeah, save me some, man. Come on.
It'll be a
sounds
late
real good.
night, right? Because we're going to some friend's house about 3, and I guess we'd probably come back about 6. So stop
see.
by about 6 o'clock.
That sounds
I want
perfect.
some oyster dressing. I won't be in town, so I'm expecting some Saturday morning.
I will have some left over for the following Thursday.
No, you can't do oysters the next. That's pretty bad. Speaking of who we just heard here, we just got Ripper the Predictor straight from fishing trips. What were you last weekend? You were doing a tournament or something last Thursday?
So last weekend was my birthday weekend.
Oh, that's right.
My wife and kids we went down to stay in Monk's Corner. I had a small club tournament. Got the win though, so that was fun. Wife and kids were there for the weigh-in and helped out a little bit.
Very cool.
And then went to the aquarium and then did a little kayaking on Sunday.
What are you drinking, Ripper?
I am
hard stuff. You got the hard
pre-gaming.
stuff. You got the
I am
hard stuff.
pre-gaming with a peppermint mocha shake.
That sounds delicious. You should
And
throw
I
some
will-
bourbon in there. That would be
I will
amazing.
top
Would be
these
alright,
off with probably a Miller Lite or 2.
Awesome.
I do have one challenge for the Ripper, given the name the Predictor. I didn't brag too much on the old Facebook page, but somebody did call out the score of the Gamecock Auburn game last week. Does Ripper get to keep his Ripper the Predictor moniker when he's not guessing scores like the Rooster is?
Rooster the producer. Rooster the producer.
I like Rooster the producer. Ripper never was good predictor.
No, we never
Accurate
claimed
predictor. I just make predictions.
Good.
Yeah,
Good. I
yeah.
like
He's
it.
like the prophet that gets 1 out of 25 right.
I like it.
The over/under was it was set at I picked it at 38,
Okay.
and the score was 37.
Oh, that's
So I
not
was
bad.
1 point
Okay.
off on that.
Nice.
I didn't have the score right, but
Not bad.
So, Ripper, are you looking forward to some oyster dressing as well, or what do you got? What's your
I
favorite
am.
thing for Thanksgiving?
Joyce introduced me into the whole oyster stuffing.
It's like a cult.
It's so good.
It sounds delicious.
My favorite dish would probably be. You know what?
You got 15 seconds
I
before.
thought about this question. I didn't even have an answer.
You don't even have an answer.
You like it all. You like it all.
You just like
Yeah,
to eat.
I do.
You
I
just
do
like
have,
to eat.
I do. You know, I'm gonna put pecan pie.
Pecan pie.
Not pecan,
yeah.
but pecan.
Pecan. Okay, so my favorite's apple pie as long as it's done right, and it has to be store bought and not homemade because I've never had a homemade pie that's better than like Publix
Dutch apple.
yeah,
Joyce-
something like that. Yeah.
Joyce
exactly.
is making the pecan pies too.
Well, then why am I going to my in-laws' house? Why shouldn't I
don't
just
know.
go to your house?
That,
Good
that-
Lord.
that's why you live with your in-laws.
Yeah, I know.
So-
That's a brilliant
I
plan.
will give one shout out because I did have some family members' girlfriend came over with her son, made homemade pumpkin pie, and it was delish. So
Oh, that does sound
not
good.
bad
yeah.
at all. Not bad at all.
Speaking
right.
of delish, this shake has real bits of peppermint in it. So
If you would like a great shake, come
That's
on down to
right.
Vinny's Frozen Yogurt Pizza Place and whatever else they decide to make here.
I hope they're ready for the onset of people coming in after that shout
Yeah,
out.
they're
Oh, yeah.
gonna be just
Loaded down tomorrow.
slam
Bring it
down
into
tomorrow,
business,
yeah,
baby.
You know it.
for sure. We're gonna do a path that we've never done on the show. We're gonna navigate fresh water here. We're gonna go ahead and let NFL ride shotgun in our boat with us today, okay? Because I've never led off with NFL, but I feel like there's some tension in the air when people say, when I start asking about what we should talk about, they're like, I always go with college football, and then I just hear people say, what about NFL? What about NFL? So we're going to be an NFL show for about the next 15 minutes. Is that cool, y'all?
Yeah, I mean, when you're talking about the storylines, the shake-up, the shakedowns going on in the NFL right now, there's a lot of storylines to talk about. So if you talk about number one, the mix-up of coaches, number two, what else you got?
Well, here's what I was going to lead off with, because there's a lot going on. Thursday we have some games coming up for Thanksgiving. 3 games. I thought it was always 2, but I guess it's been 3.
Last couple of years, they started going to 3.
Okay, gotcha. So I must miss the early game usually,
Yep.
which would be the noon game then. And then Cardinals that have the best record in the NFL. Are they the best team in the NFL? Let's go and start there. Is that cool?
We can.
Okay, good. So Cardinals 9-2. great team. They're exciting to watch. Are they the best team in the NFL right now?
I think that the Cardinals are the best team in the NFL with Kyler Murray. When they had their full onset, I believe they are. So if you look at the list of people that they've gone through, really, when they had their full deck, they haven't been beat yet. So I think it is the right play. It certainly is not the Titans and we'll talk about the Titans in a minute. The Bills are stumbling. I think we just saw
Bills are 6-4 now.
Right, which after a 4-1 start,
second in the AFC East.
Yep. And even if you look at the Packers, they stumbled. So really, I think that the Arizona Cardinals, with their full deck, they sit at the top.
Anyone else think
They
so?
They won last week without their starting quarterback. Correct? Am I correct on that?
They did. Colt McCoy
Colt
was
McCoy.
the quarterback for
Right.
Arizona, but didn't they also lose? They didn't have Murray as their quarterback, but did they lose to Houston?
No, they did not.
Who are their two losses?
It was 2 weeks ago they lost. I can't remember who that was against, so I don't want to get too deep into that because then we're going to sound like a bunch of babbling idiots, and our fans expect high stats from us, right? They don't expect babbling idiots. They expect just amazing ability to just go back and talk about the past. So we don't talk about the past too much on this show. We talk about the future.
Yeah, where's the chief when you need him with the stats?
Where is the chief?
They did lose to Carolina, if you remember, 2 weeks ago with the emergence of Cam Newton. So they did take that game, or they did get beat that game again. Colt McCoy, while he looked fantastic against the 49ers the week prior, he looked like Colt McCoy against the Panthers.
Okay.
This past week they played against Seattle, who is
they're like 3-7, right?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing is the end of the Pete Carroll era in Seattle.
For sure.
They have the wide receivers. They have the quarterback who is waning. He's still off that injury from the finger, but they have no running game. Every running back since Marshawn has gone to Seattle to die.
Okay.
Rashad Penny.
The Packers beat them also.
Yeah, so I called originally in the beginning of the season. I don't know if none of you guys were on the first show, I don't think. Were you on the first show, Ripper?
This year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So we were calling who is going to be in the Super Bowl.
Green Bay and Cleveland. Those are my picks.
So I said
Predictor.
The predictor. I said Green Bay because I was copying you because I thought like this guy knows his stuff because he's the predictor. You didn't even get the nickname predictor by that point though.
No.
On the first show. So Ripper, I went with Green Bay and I went with the Ravens, and so far those two teams are doing pretty. They're pretty solid. I don't know that either of those teams beat the Cardinals. Who?
If Green Bay beat them already.
Oh, that's true.
Head-to-head does
Good
count
point.
in the NFL. It's a little more, I think, more of a measuring stick in the NFL than it is in college. Mm-hmm. And then you got Aaron Rodgers on the other side, seasoned guy. Yeah, he's a quirky guy, but at the same time, he gets you results.
He's old. But he wants to go out this season looking strong.
I think the team that people are nobody's talking about right now, and I sent it over to you, but nobody's talking about the young, upcoming New England Patriots.
Mac Jones, baby. Just insane.
Mac Jones bringing the Maction, but it's not really how New England is winning right now.
You can't steal the Maction from the Mac.
I'm stealing it.
How dare you? You're the one that introduced me to the Mac.
I did. I'm
2 weeks ago. And now you're stealing Mac, and then you're putting in the Maction.
He's not bringing the high-scoring offense. He's bringing the efficiency. He's going to end up this year being the highest completion percentage of any rookie in the NFL. So another great pick by the New England Patriots, but they're not winning from offense. Mm-hmm. Their defense is winning. How many interceptions did they have this past week? I believe they had 3 in their win. They continue 4 in their win. In their win, well, there was 1 in the last second of the game there, but they continue to impress me by showing up on defense. They continue to put it together.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, folks. Belichick may have done it again. I would rather see the Bills, but go in the playoffs. But the Bills just aren't showing up anymore. I don't know what's happened to Josh or the team in where they were in the beginning of the season, scoring highest average in the NFL to the last 4 weeks. He's also killing my fantasy football team, so it's personal for me. But
sad day.
Don't count the Patriots out with the way they're playing ball right now.
I think they look like a playoff team. I would be shocked to see them make it to the Super Bowl. This is Bill Belichick football. If you look at the first 2 years when Tom Brady was playing quarterback, he wasn't lighting up defenses. He was playing turnover-free and football, and he managed the ball.
Not a lot of mistakes, yeah.
He managed the game.
It matters.
Yeah,
and
discipline
he
matters.
relied on a running game and his defense to carry them to wins. And over time, he became the Tom Brady that we all know. I think Mac Jones is a really good young quarterback. I'm not ready to anoint him as a top 10 quarterback. That's definitely not the case.
And all I'm saying is, if you look at,
he's not providing that sort of action.
if you look at where if you look at where the AFC is now, I will tell you that we're probably looking at a Patriots team at least in the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, they're really good.
I disagree.
Yeah, I can say this. I think because what you mentioned early on, the youth, I see them getting better, a lot better.
Yeah.
As
The youth is going to make
goes on.
mistakes over
And
time. But
their passing game is really very conservative, which is good for Matt Jones. I mean,
they have a lot of good runners, so they don't need to pass too much.
Well, short. They had the injury bug, but they continue to churn out good talent out of that one. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, that's fine. The short passing game, I think, is very good and conducive to their success to this point in time already. And again, they do play defense. I'll echo that.
I'll just say this. Right now that they're at the top of the AFC, in their first 4 games,
They're 6-4.
6-4. In their first 4 games, they were 1-3.
Who's 6?
But they're not in the top of the AFC.
New England's 7-4.
Okay.
New England's 7-4 right now.
7-4. Sorry,
Yeah.
after this past week. So they lost to the Dolphins in Week 1. Obviously, a new team putting new things together. They beat the Jets because everybody beats the Jets, except for the Titans, which we'll talk about. They lost to the Saints, who were playing good ball in the beginning of the year. They lost to the Buccaneers, 19-17. Don't dismiss that.
You don't need to talk about this one coming up here.
And then they beat the Texans. They lost to the Cowboys, but then they beat Jets again. Chargers, good team.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers.
I don't want to hear it.
Okay. Who was the next team?
Go ahead.
I can't remember the score of that game. What was it?
49,000 to nothing.
Yeah, 46 to 7 to the Browns. Complete shutdown. 25-0 to the Falcons. And if you look at their last 3 games, the defense has averaged 4.5 points allowed a game last 3 games.
So is Bill Belichick, is he starting a new legacy over there in New England?
A new legacy. It's a continued legacy.
I would say.
Hey, and for the record,
We
I hate the Patriots.
Yeah. We got a mouthful of pizza, every single one of us. Because, by the way, Vinny's Pizza makes some pretty damn good pizza. Just try it out.
Very
You'll see.
good.
Come get some after the show.
Yeah, after the show. We should go live sometime, like actual live show.
Sometime. But I'll just say, if you look at where the AFC is, who's the top in the AFC?
Kansas City's coming on strong.
No.
Kansas City's coming on strong. 5 wins in a row.
They only scored 19 points against a hapless Dallas team.
Dallas
You
is
get
pretty
Mahomes
good,
in a groove with all that talent around him.
Dak Prescott is doing solid this season.
So let's transition. I'm heavy on the AFC side. I apologize, but finally we saw the true Tannehill in Tennessee this past weekend. 4 interceptions, no Derrick Henry. He was relied upon to make passes, and he couldn't make them.
It was rough.
Houston's not a good team.
No, not at all.
Who are the teams that the Titans have lost to this year?
Who are they? I don't know.
I thought we weren't going in the past.
Arizona,
Uh-huh.
the Jets,
Yeah. They lost. Oh, that's right.
and
yeah.
Houston. So 2 out of their 3 losses are to the 2 of the worst teams in the NFL. Mike Vrabel's got to get that together. I thought Mike Vrabel was a better coach than that. To prepare his team for the wins that they should have. This could be a 9-1 team. But now they're sitting there, or an 8-1 team. Now they're sitting there at 6-3. They're second guessing themselves. They're losing to a Houston team. I don't think that without Derrick Henry, who Derrick Henry gets stronger as the season goes on, I don't think they make it past round 1 of the playoffs. Bold prediction.
Okay.
They just waived Peterson, by the way, Adrian Peterson.
Who's going to the Super Bowl? That can be a bold prediction for tonight. Come on. Bring it on. Who's going to
I'm
Super Bowl?
staying with my original bet, and this is a
Green
long
Bay
shot.
and who else?
In Cleveland.
In Cleveland.
Cleveland doesn't even make
The
it to the playoffs.
Browns?
Yep.
Cleveland's not even in the playoff hunt.
Dude,
right
you
now.
have
We're like a game
blinders
out.
on. You have blinders
Huh?
on right now.
No, I'm just sticking. I'm sticking with it. Unfortunately, our quarterback
Just had some
is
challenges.
completely broken right now.
He is.
Yeah.
Which I don't know why he doesn't sit out.
I
But-
don't either. I think
Give
he's
him a
trying
couple of
to
weeks, right?
get a pay,
No, his shoulder is
get paid
completely-
next year. But
Okay.
Chew that up first and then start.
Here's
Go.
what I'm going to say. I'll say AFC in the championship game. Who are we going to see? Colts against New England.
Colts
You
are
heard-
looking good.
You heard it here first. Jonathan Taylor, number one running back in the league by far,
Why?
because he runs
Because
and he
Derrick
catches.
Henry's hurt.
He runs and he catches.
Didn't the Colts score 45 points last week against?
Against the Bills.
Against the Bills, yeah.
And Jonathan Taylor had 4 touchdowns between running and passing.
He
There were
does. He looks
several
great.
interceptions too, though, which kind of helped him out a little bit, I think.
Yeah, Josh Allen, he's averaging 1.7 interceptions per game in his last 4 games. It's his turnovers are one of the bigger reasons why the Bills are struggling. However, the Bills have lost their running game. I don't know why. They've got Singletary and they've got Moss, 2 I would say middle of the road running backs,
Yeah.
which should be able to wear defenses down. And Josh Allen can run the ball. Anyways, that's my bold prediction. I think the Colts look good. I think they're going to shock the world with Wentz, who I'm not a fan of, but same offensive coordinator that he was at the Eagles with when they won the Super Bowl.
So they're at 6-5 now, I believe, right?
Mhm.
They've got the same.
6 and
They're
5.
at 6-5. They have the same record as Cleveland. Now they are playing much better than Cleveland is right now, but I think if Cleveland can endure, they have the talent, the coaching. They just got to put it all together, and it's been kind of a tough season for them so
No,
far.
I understand. I'll ask OBJ's dad for some advice about Cleveland's offense.
He's in LA now.
So let's hop on.
Getting all of his pay in Bitcoin, by the way.
Probably.
That's
Yeah.
good. I invested in Bitcoin in 2015.
He had done it in 2012, $1,000 investing in.
I bought 3 Bitcoins for $200 a piece.
If you invested $1,000 in Bitcoin in 2012,
Oh, I
you'd
know.
have $30 million right now. Anyways,
Oh, I know that. The IRS cannot find out that I had my Bitcoin, though. Let's just say that. So, let's hop on to Thanksgiving Day football, okay? We have the battle of the 2 crappy teams. We're going to call it the Bottom Feeder Bowl, and that's going to be the Bears versus the Lions. Do the Lions have a chance to get their first win? I mean, they probably have the easiest time to get their first win against the Bears this week because the Bears suck too. So
And their quarterback's out for the game too.
the Bears quarterback?
Yes.
Yeah, Justin
Okay.
Fields is
Starting
out,
quarterback.
but
Justin-
Andy Dalton is a pretty
he-
solid
Yeah,
backup.
he started
He really
originally,
is.
right?
Yeah.
well, Lions may
got
be
hurt.
without their starting quarterback as well.
So nothing can get worse for either team then. So we're not expecting too many points, although the Lions haven't scored more than about
You're
10
right.
points per
There
game.
could be a possibility of picking up a win this weekend.
Or a tie.
right.
I
I
think
gotta tell you, if you look at it for a while, Detroit only lost by an average of about 10 points for their first 5 games.
Defensively, they're not too bad. Like I think the team that they played last week only scored 13 points, so it was 13 to 10.
we don't need to bring that up.
Was that
That's
against?
true. Cleveland.
Yeah, that's right. I just remember
They
the
almost
scores.
got a win
Hey,
then.
Cleveland held them to 66 yards passing. Okay.
Well, that's not hard to do against the Lions, I'm sure. But it's pretty solid that the Lions were able to hold y'all to 13 points then. So,
But BD Nick, I'm not going to talk about what BD stands for, but BD Nick, he might come back. If he is in the game, I think that's a difference maker. Fields is out. Dalton's not a winning quarterback. If Foles is in,
Foles isn't playing.
they're talking about starting him.
Really?
Yep.
Because Dalton looked pretty good coming in the second half last week.
Sure. I'm telling you right now, Dalton's not a winner. He wasn't a winner at Dallas. He's not going to be a winner he wasn't a winner at Dallas when he had better weapons. He's not going to be a winner for the Bears.
He went to the playoffs like 5 times in Cincinnati.
oh, this is what I like. Fight it out, guys. Fight it out.
In Cincinnati.
What did he win? 1 game in 5 times?
I mean, you got to win to get to the playoffs.
They only won 1 game in the playoffs
Yeah.
each year.
I don't know. Not 1 game a year. I think 1 time.
So, but my point is, you have to be a winning team to get to the playoffs more often than not.
It's easy to win when Cleveland's going 2-12 every single year, or 2-15 every year. Okay.
Now you're just taking pot shots, you know?
I'm just saying when Dalton was winning, Cleveland wasn't. That's all I'm saying.
Still have Pittsburgh and Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of the Raiders, let's move on to the second game of the day on Thanksgiving. You got the Raiders, who are 5-5, versus the Cowboys, who are 7-3. Dak Prescott started off playing really good ball. He's kind of slowed down a little bit. I think he had some sort of injury 3 or 4 weeks ago. Maybe that's what's slowing him down. But Raiders coming off of 2 straight losses. I think that they're going to come out and try to win this game, obviously.
We should change their name from the Las Vegas Raiders to the Las Vegas Hot Mess Express.
Hot Mess Express, all right.
Because they can't get out of their own way. They still have good tools. Excuse me. They still have good tools. But it's in their head now. After Gruden left with that whole thing, and after the Ruggs situation, they haven't recovered yet.
Okay.
It'll be interesting to see, because you talk about Dak Prescott not playing as good ball. Well, he's been without Cooper, and now he's going to be without number 88, which is CeCe Lamb. So, and I'll be honest with you, Ezekiel Elliott does not look like Ezekiel Elliott. He looks terrible. If they were smart, they would actually put their second running back in. He's actually looks way better than Zeke does.
He's lost a step or two, I think.
Yeah, something's going on with Zeke. I don't know what it is. Because if you look at Zeke's first 2 years in the NFL, he was explosive. He was hitting 80-yard runs. Pollard right now looks like the better back, but I think they're just trying to keep everybody happy down there in Dallas land. They're going to be without two of their probably 2 of the top 20 running wide receivers in the entire league this week. I look to see, again, another under game. Look for this one to be a snoozer. Grandpa's on the couch, or he's in the recliner, sleeping off the Thanksgiving turkey. Thank God, because this game's gonna be like 17-9. But I'm gonna say Dallas pulls it out.
So we're gonna have 2 snooze games.
2 snoozers. Yep.
All right. So as we'll start waking up in the evening time, they're gonna have the Bills and the Saints playing, and that's the big game of the week. That's the big game of the day. Saints looking pretty good. I think they're 5-5 or 5-6 or 6-5. I can't remember which. And then we got the Bills, who are 6-5, right? Or are they 6-4?
I think they're 5-5.
No, they're not. They have a better than 500.
6-5.
Yeah.
The bottom line is both these teams are on a downward trajectory. So this is going to determine both these teams. If they're going, either one of these teams is going to make the playoffs. If you lose, you're out of the playoffs. If you win, you still have a chance. I think that the Bills come out on top of this one. Simeon is probably the number 29th or 30th quarterback in the league right now.
Mm-hmm. Not even.
Out of 32, I think I'm pretty close.
He wasn't even their starter.
He started last week.
Right, I'm just saying, but...
I'm just saying he's terrible. I have not seen the injury report to see if they're going to have their full deck, but I think the Bills come back in this one. I see Bills winning this one 31-21.
I think it's going to be a blowout for Buffalo. I think this is the week where Buffalo gets back on track, starts making that push towards playoffs.
They really need to get back on track.
I still see them in the AFC Championship game. I do. I think they got a lot of talent. They got a really good defense, really good coaching, and they've got a very talented quarterback.
The Rooster would be happy to hear that.
I would be. Again, I'm not a New England Patriots fan by any means, and my father and my brother are. They just twitched a little because my family's originally from the Boston area. I'm originally from the Syracuse area. I've never pulled for the Bills. I'm a Chicago Bears fan. Don't judge me. But
are you really?
1986, the Bears beat the Patriots.
The Patriots. That was the first Super Bowl I ever watched.
So my brother and my father were Patriots fans.
You like the Super Bowl shuffle?
Guess what I did?
What?
I took the Bears as to go against the father and the brother, and it worked out, baby.
Did you win some money as a 5-year-old?
No, I was 6. Yeah. We weren't betting back then. It was pride, and I only got beat up mildly.
Yeah. So that Super Bowl in 1986, I think I was in 2nd or 3rd grade. So that ages me.
I think they won 46-10.
Yeah, I remember.
Very good.
Everybody in my school loved the Bears because they had the Super Bowl shuffle, and the Patriots had some stupid Americana song type thing, which I thought was cool. But all the other kids were like, it was a rap song and stuff like that, so all the kids liked it. So I went with the Patriots. I've been a Patriots fan ever since then. But I should have went for the Bears. I'd be a Bears fan too.
Well, I mean, when you got a guy named the Fridge on your team, when you got a guy named McMahon who wears sunglasses and a headband on your team, when you got a guy that his nickname is the Sweetness.
They screwed over the Sweetness by giving the refrigerator Perry the ball at the 1 yard line
And he scored a touchdown.
Instead of the guy that carried them all season long. Walter Payton. Why not hand it off to your running backs? Let him score a touchdown.
Why not have fun on the field? And I think nobody cared.
He cared.
He didn't.
There's a whole documentary on it.
That's why people are getting the Walter Payton Award of the Year right now, because he was a giver. He didn't mind the Fridge, who was a South Carolinian, by the way.
I knew that. Where did he go to school at? Do you know?
I don't know that.
Okay, I have no idea either. So,
he only
our
had 17.
fans, if you guys want to put it on the Facebook page, let us know, because I know everyone's listening.
All right.
We got to move into college football.
We sure
I think
do.
we've played out NFL football.
Breaking news.
But
New ratings are out.
that was the biggest NFL moment on Guys at the Bar Talking Sports, by the way. We led with NFL, and it went good. 2 thumbs up. All right, moving on. College football. In-state rivals this week, and lots of awesome games. Gators play the Seminoles. Biggest game of the week, obviously.
I hear you might have an opportunity to get some seats there. I don't know.
Supposedly, the coach for the Ragin' Cajuns, who is the... supposedly, they're going to announce right before that game that he's going to be the coach for Florida.
Oh, got that insider talk?
That's kind of the rumors that are going around. I can't remember what his name is. I'll have to look him up. Not Luke Fickle. It's Billy Napier, right? Supposedly they're going to announce that. But that is not going to help the Seminoles beat the Gators, because the Gators taking them down, baby. But that's the biggest game of the week. Then we'll move on to all these other minor games of the week. And that's going to be Ole Miss versus Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl. You got the Iron Bowl number 3, Alabama versus Auburn. They're playing at Auburn. UCF, USF, Clemson, South Carolina. Number 1 Georgia versus Georgia Tech. Number 10 Oklahoma versus number 7 Oklahoma State. You got Michigan, Ohio State. You got Iowa and Nebraska.
Number 2 ranked Ohio State.
Oh,
now.
I'm sorry.
Do we have the top
And,
4?
I'm
and
sorry.
Number 5 ranked Michigan.
I'm sorry. I thought it was the Ohio State.
Did you just say Michigan?
Yes, I said Michigan. Rather than the team up north.
It's for the show. It's for the
Oh
show.
my God, I'm about to have a heart attack. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about that game. First, we'll go with Michigan and the team down south. What's going to happen in that game, guys?
Without a doubt.
Tell me more.
And I told you last
Does
week.
that team down south win?
No, the team down south is Ohio State. The Ohio State will beat the team up north. I was the only one that last week told you that Ohio State would cover.
Yeah,
Michigan State.
We're going to call you, who's your daddy,
Think about it. Let's think about it.
Let's think about this. Yeah, I can't come up with stuff right off the top.
And I'm not even
that.
sure what the line is for but Ohio State will cover this
I think it's
weekend.
similar.
7.5.
Is it?
Oh, they'll cover easily this weekend.
Yeah, that was a bold prediction that they were going to
Exactly.
cover that 21, and
They covered it in the first quarter.
They covered. Yeah, that was
Exactly.
an insane game. So are they going to do the same thing to Michigan?
I don't know if it's going to be the same outcome. They'll win the game and cover with 7-point spread.
Ohio State exploited Michigan State's inability to cover the pass. That's really what it came down to.
I'm going to go ahead and eat a piece. It's Thanksgiving. Sometimes you got to eat a piece of pie. Sometimes you got to eat a piece of humble pie. Okay. So Ohio State is the number 2 team in the country. There's not a doubt in my mind. Even though they're playing the team in the north, I'm going to bend the knee to the team in the south, because Ohio State will be in the championship game, likely against Georgia, in a month and a half. I promise you that. Ohio State looks good. If the line is 7.5, I'm going all in on Ohio State. They have the best offense in the country right now. And because Syracuse has a terrible line, they have the best running back in the country right now.
And I will
7.2 yards per game.
not to interrupt you, but I will say and add one more thing. Right after we won last weekend, I just thought with all the attention on our receivers, I think our freshman running back
Travion.
will have a big game this weekend. Plus 200 yards.
Wow.
I think that's a bold prediction.
I think he will have a big game this weekend.
I don't see it that way. I'm gonna go against you. I do think that Ohio State does have what they need to pass through the air. I think Michigan is going to make it a single front war. They're going to take the run game out of it. They're going to force Ohio State to pass. Surprisingly enough, I think that's where Ohio State is the weakest right now, which is incredible because they have a great wide receiver. They have a great quarterback. They're going to take Henderson out of the game and make it a passing game for Ohio State.
And you think Ohio State's weakest part is their run game?
Their weakest part is their pass game right now. That's what I'm saying. It's incredible. But they're going to take the run game out of the equation. They're going to make it into a pass game. I don't think Henderson's is going to have 100 yards this game.
So
Wow.
the team up
I'll
north.
take that bet.
The team, you guys can put your
On water?
wagers.
Look, I was bending the knee here. I was saying how good Ohio State is. And
He was down on bended knee like boys to men.
I'm gonna give I'm gonna put the big bet over to Ohio State. I'm just saying. A couple weeks ago, I was a little down on Ohio State after seeing them methodically the last couple weeks. Iowa, Michigan State. It proves to me that the Big Ten is overrated, but also that Ohio State is a great team.
I don't know why we had to dig the Big Ten, but as a Buckeye fan, I grew up in the 80s, watched all of Ohio
Rough
State
times.
football in the 90s.
Rough
and
times.
I have seen
It was sweater vest.
the game. I have seen the game numerous times, and I've seen how that game plays out. It wouldn't matter which team was ranked number 1, number 2, or number 30. When they play, they come to play. And even considering how much this means to both programs to play this game, the team up north is probably the most balanced offensive and defensive team that we're going to see all year long.
Until Georgia.
No, Georgia's offense isn't
A balance. He said balance.
balanced.
Until Georgia.
Georgia's not.
Georgia's not an offensive powerhouse.
No.
They're not. Michigan's not, but they've got a lot. They have a better ground game. They're averaging like 260 yards through the air, 217 yards on the ground.
It's hardball football. They're going to hit you.
Right. They're not making mistakes.
Running back. Well, they only make mistakes in big games. What's Harbaugh's record against Ohio State?
It's Ohio State.
0-7, 0-8, something like that.
Yeah, I think we're up to
0-5. This will be the 6th chance.
Okay.
it was 2013. I thought it was 0-7.
We didn't play last year.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah, they ducked and ran. But said something about COVID or something.
Yeah, you're right.
But there's a lot of talent on both sides of the ball. I do believe Ohio State has better quality, depth, and overall talent, but this is in the big house. This is an opportunity for Jim Harbaugh to get that signature win.
He needs it.
And I think it could be close, and I'm predicting a close game, probably first half, maybe even end of the third quarter, and then Ohio State's talent and skill just kind of carries them through. So I'm looking at probably a 14 to 18 point win for Ohio State. Still covering, but it's going to be a lot closer than what we saw last week.
Before you go, I'm going to tell you right now, the Ripper just nailed it right on the head. Okay, so look what happened to Michigan against Michigan State. That game was 30-13 halfway through the third quarter,
And then they fell apart.
squandered. This would be a completely different ball game if Michigan had beaten a vulnerable Michigan State.
All Ohio State has to do in the fourth quarter, because Michigan's going to be worn out, is just start running that ball down the center, just like Michigan State did.
But that's not who Ryan Day is. Ryan Day is a pass-first coach. He's looking to exploit a team through the air instead of on the ground, like we've been used to with Urban Meyer and Jim Tressel. So that's not Ryan Day's, MO. We'll see what happens.
I'll be honest with you. The khakis go down. This looks like a similar game to the Michigan State game. I'm telling you right now, blowout coming. Wolverine fans, I'm sorry, Big Blue. I appreciate the humility from the Ohio State fans in here. I'll say it so they don't have to, because that's bad karma for them to say it. I'll say it for them as a Gamecock fan. I hope they come through for me when we talk about Gamecock Clemson game.
We'll get to that in a minute. So, is Harbaugh done if he loses this game?
No,
He had a good enough season to save
It's an
his
incredible
job.
program.
I mean, even so, he'll be 10-2.
Yeah, okay.
It's an incredible program.
Yeah, this will be the third time he'll have 10 wins in a season.
Oklahoma State versus the Oklahoma Sooners. Cowboys versus the Sooners. whoever wins this game, should they be in the top 4 somehow?
Well, it depends on what happens.
Brookie DC!
What's up?
You made it. Grab yourself a beer.
I'm late.
That's fine. Grab yourself a beer.
Late.
You got
It's
your
over. Get outta
Tennessee
here.
shirt on. He's ready to roll, man.
Right.
So I actually think the game Oklahoma State, I think that's probably going to be the best game of the week. Oklahoma State's been known for its offense for several years under Mike Gundy, but they're winning games with their defense this year. They've got like the fourth-rated defense overall in the country.
Nice.
Oklahoma has shown the ability to put up a lot of points and put up a lot of points pretty quickly. I'm looking forward for this being a pretty good game. If Oklahoma State can pull out the win, they're primed to pull into that, 4th position should, one of the top 4 teams hiccup.
Depending upon how things go.
I don't think they're going to jump Cincinnati, but Cincinnati's still got some work to do.
Cincinnati's still got to beat Houston, right?
they're gonna depend them in the AAC
But they're currently
championship.
ranked 4th.
Yeah, they are ranked in the
Playoffs.
in the playoffs. They
Tonight.
put them in top 4.
They are in the top 4
Ohio
tonight.
State jumped Alabama.
All right, so we got it's
I
Georgia, Ohio State, Alabama, Cincinnati.
And I think the reason for the
Okay.
jump there is because obviously Ohio State is commanding the ball offensively, playing better defense, but the committee also knows that Georgia has a great chance of beating Alabama. But if they don't beat them, it's easier for them to just situate Alabama somewhere else in that top 4.
Can you say that first part again?
Look. DC comes in and he drops a bomb. Okay,
Drops a bomb.
So what happens when Alabama and Georgia play and Georgia wins?
Alabama's out.
Alabama.
Who's in?
It's simple.
Who's in?
You said if Georgia wins.
Cincinnati's
Michigan's-
in.
Cincinnati's
in if they win.
Cincinnati's already win.
We've already decided that
Cin-
Michigan loses.
Let's say Cincinnati wins.
All right.
Michigan loses.
So,
okay, so now we've got Ohio State.
You're looking at
we've got
Oklahoma State or
Georgia.
Notre Dame.
Oklahoma
Notre
State.
Dame, no! Stop
Is Notre Dame
thieving.
5 or is Michigan
Where are they
5?
at? Is Notre Dame 6?
They're 6th or 7th.
Michigan's
They're
five.
right up there.
And Michigan falls out if they get
Okay.
beat.
He's making
Michigan,
bets over
obviously.
here while we're talking. It's
Yeah, they're going to
wonderful.
bump up.
Make us some
You're looking
money,
at
man. We
Oklahoma
need
State
someone to pay for the
or
beer.
Notre Dame.
I've
So
seen that
let's
app before.
let's throw a fun option out there, though. What happens if Michigan somehow upsets Ohio State?
Oh, that's gonna. Well, then
Michigan's
Ohio
in-
State's
yeah,
out
We're
Then Ohio
done.
State's out. Michigan slides in.
because they're
Absolutely.
2 lost at that point.
Well,
yeah.
Michigan is in with 1 win. I think so. From
Yeah,
a
with one loss. Absolutely.
I'm sorry, 1
Well, I mean, regardless, if you just
Michigan.
It was Michigan State.
Okay, so the
A
likelihood
decent loss.
of Michigan beating Ohio State's not very high. The game is in.
It's in
the
Michigan.
it's the big house.
Columbus, or
No.
it's at the big house.
Yeah,
So that does help them, but
Ann Arbor.
we've seen the track
Is,
record is
you
not
know,
solid in the in that side of it for Michigan. But you
So,
know,
so Oklahoma State is not in unless there's some stuff that goes their way.
Right.
If they win, okay. So,
they're a one-loss team.
They're a one-loss team, poised to win the Big 12. Again, 4th-ranked defense in the country.
Yeah.
So
That's mayhem. That's mayhem.
Defense wins games. Offense sells tickets.
if Michigan beats Ohio State, we have mayhem on our hands.
Bonkers
it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
And if
I
Cincinnati
don't-
runs it
I
all
don't
the
see
way
the-
out, Cincinnati could be the 2 seed going into the playoffs if those things fall.
But how
I don't see
DC
that
comes
happening.
in dropping bombs, baby.
I don't see Cincy moving any higher than 3rd, but I don't think they're going to
How?
go that high.
What?
their strength of schedule
You're
is
talking
terrible.
about Alabama
But you gotta
losing,
think.
and you're talking about Ohio State
if
losing.
both those teams lose, absolutely. And
Cincinnati goes to number 2,
they go
baby.
2.
Not necessarily. That's not how it works.
Okay.
We'll see
Put
what
me on
happens.
the committee. I'll make it happen.
I am looking forward to a weekend of some crazy upsets. Then that'll be fun. That'll be fun to watch, especially when Auburn beats Alabama in the Iron Bowl.
Ain't happening.
Ain't happening. So, I always trust the guys at the Bar Talking Sports Facebook page. Right, the group knows, and whenever I do those, who's gonna win the game? If you take all that, like, there's probably 2 people that have said Auburn's winning, and the rest say Alabama. I think those people are being safe. Anything can happen in the Iron Bowl. They could do a pick, or what is it called? The kick 6. Not going to happen this year, but
Did you watch the same football game I watched this past weekend?
it was bad.
Auburn does not have a chance in, you know what?
I mean, you kind of have to throw against Alabama to beat Alabama, don't you?
You do. They're good at the run. They're
Yeah,
good
they-
on the outside.
Grab you a piece of pizza, my man.
I'm
That's
good,
really
brother.
good.
I actually just had dinner a little bit ago.
Okay.
But I appreciate it.
No problem. So no chance in hell that Auburn's winning this game after losing to the Carolina Gamecocks last week.
No, not in my opinion.
Not if Mike Bobo is calling the calls. I will tell you right now, they got a guy that's on their team that ran roughshod over the Gamecocks. His name is Tank. If you got a guy named Tank, then for crying out loud, give Tank the ball. Okay?
That's all you should do.
They got two steps.
If they had, if they had just stuck, stuck to the running game, the Gamecocks wouldn't have had a chance. That game would have been 40-14. Are you kidding
That's
me?
the same problem the Gators had. They didn't run the ball. The first 8
You guys
plays.
have a lot more problems than that.
No, but the first 8 plays when they played the Gamecocks were passing plays, and I'm thinking to myself, what is going on the sidelines that they're calling passing?
Teams that abandoned their game plan this week. Like you said, Auburn didn't run the ball. Michigan State gave the ball to Kenneth Walker 6 times. He had no opportunity.
What are you doing?
The first 3 times he carried it, he got 8-9 yards.
And he's a Heisman candidate. Like, come on.
Okay. DC comes in and he's shaking us all up. Okay,
so I know. I can't even stay on topic with this.
I'm going to try to bring it back to earth here. We're going to get through a couple more games.
Scoreboard so much.
One person talking at a time.
I'm going to get
We're
back.
having arguments here. See this?
Let's go ahead and bring it back into earth here. Okay?
Bring it back into earth.
Listen, I'm never going to bring Auburn out of a game. Okay, so to say that Auburn doesn't have a chance, rookie DC, no sir. Okay, you've got 2 great running backs. You got a great offensive line. You got a decent
Don't
defense.
Say quarterback.
We don't even know who the quarterback is, do we?
We do. He's 6'5" and plays like he's scared to death.
Okay.
Alabama
against Alabama.
But Alabama has some weaknesses. They've shown it against Florida.
Arkansas.
Florida sucks.
Arkansas, the only one.
Auburn's better than Florida.
Florida
And Florida
beat Tennessee, and Tennessee could kill Florida right now. You can't throw any of that in the mix because of the challenges that teams have made throughout the differences they've made.
We're gonna move on here because we got to talk Heisman's.
Hopefuls.
But we still got to talk about a couple things. We're sitting here in Columbia, South Carolina, and we haven't even talked about the biggest game of the week. And if we get off
the year,
the
really.
Citadel,
It's the game
the
of the
Citadel
year.
versus who? Is the Citadel versus
Who's Coastal?
Coastal Carolina?
I'm gonna move on. So what we're talking about here is the Kitty Cats against the Gamecocks. Okay, so what we're talking about here is the first time in 6 years that we're actually talking about the Gamecocks having a chance
to win the game.
Okay, I'm a Gamecock fan. I'm going to the game, baby. Section 307.
I'm a Gamecock fan.
Section 307.
You got the good
seats.
seats.
Yeah, you know
the good seats.
Up there, uppers, baby. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna
you
be
got a
able
better
to-
view up there. I
I'm
think.
going to see the whole field. Okay. Bottom
So how
line-
is it going to handle? How is it going to handle it? So Clemson has a pretty good defense. Gamecocks have a decent enough offense to score some points.
This is one of those times of the season where I'm just so mad. Can I say pissed off on this?
Say it, pissed off.
I am so pissed off. If they had just kept their quarterback in that game, the Gamecocks would have won this game. Instead, they changed to their second-string quarterback, who is always better than their first-string quarterback. Clemson scores 47 against a number 10 Wake Forest team last week, which, by the way, Wake Forest is way overrated. Syracuse should have won their game against them. Anyways, okay, Wake Forest has been overrated all season. That's the bottom line.
Are we talking about which game are we talking about?
Clemson goes in to Wake Forest. They beat them 47-24, and now they have confidence going into this game.
They have a lot of confidence.
A lot of confidence in Dabo. He's, I'm not going to say preaching. He's sitting on his step because he needs one because he's short. He is trying to.
Why are you looking at me?
Look, man, we're twins.
Yeah.
We're both sexy.
You guys
don't
do
you worry
look
about
like
it,
twins,
okay?
by the way.
Where you even got this? We got hoodies on
No,
and a
there
blue
you
shirt
go.
underneath.
All I'm
I was like,
saying is,
what?
I am upset. I'm hoping that Beamer ball is Scrappy ball that takes over for this week. Keep the only way that Gamecocks wins is if they win the turnover battle. This is not going to be a pretty game for the Gamecocks. I'm predicting Clemson. They win.
Clemson does not Clemson.
Clemson wins 27-17. I'm going to be really upset when that happens, but we're bowling, baby. Gamecocks are bowling.
I'm calling the upset with the Gamecocks. I don't know what the score's going to be, but it'll be like 24-17. Gamecocks win.
So I'm gonna.
What do
jump,
you?
oh, I'm gonna jump in here. I'm gonna make it real quick. So Gamecocks are happy, exceeded all expectations, going bowling, great things. Unfortunately for them, they're kind of running into a buzzsaw right now. Clemson is peaking. Finally. I don't think it's going to be anywhere near 27-17. They got their running backs actually moving the ball now. Their defense is playing pretty damn good.
45-17 then?
Yeah, I would say probably along the lines of 45-17. We'll go with that. Unfortunately, but hey, Gamecocks are bowling. It's been a successful year. You got to be happy for that.
As a former assistant in the SEC with the Gamecocks, I'm a Gamecock fan. But
Go
unfortunately, this weekend, with Clemson on the upswing, 31-10. Clemson.
That's Sandstorm, man.
I'll take a piece off of Spencer. Clemson has confidence, and Clemson doesn't need a lot of confidence going into South Carolina because they typically own South Carolina, as we've seen in the past. So I think Clemson runs away with it. Unfortunately, South Carolina does not have the offense they need to keep up with. Clemson and Clemson's just, like you said, they're starting to hit their stride.
And let's be clear on this one. We're on our fourth string quarterback at Carolina.
Jason Brown?
The fact that they're doing, and we saw White do amazing things last week. Who was the leading SEC rusher last year?
I think the backup running back for
the
USC
backup.
Right,
So you're talking about we've got amazing talent, man. When you're playing your fourth string quarterback, who Brown is doing a decent job. Did you see some of those passes last week against Auburn?
Yeah, looking good.
Rolling left, throwing from his right-handed on the money to Van, sitting in the end zone. Those were NFL caliber.
Patrick Mahomes, baby.
We just need to put it together. Watch the replay. That's amazing.
Senior?
But I think he has one more year of eligibility. I think
he has one COVID year.
Yeah. What's that?
South Carolina's in the transfer portal right now, and they're the favorite to land Harrison Bailey, and that will be a masterpiece.
Oh yeah, next year. Next year, let's talk about this game.
Look, we're not. Yeah, we're sticking in the present here, folks. Yeah, Berkey DC, you can't come in 39 minutes late and start talking about next year.
Changes the aspect of the entire team if they get Harrison Bailey. He is a 5-star quarterback and a pro style who sits in the pocket, and that's what South Carolina does. Off my soapbox.
Interesting stuff.
Stay up there. You're doing well.
Speaking of Heisman candidates,
C.J. Stroud is your favorite now as of this afternoon, with Bryce right behind him, and then it drops off way past to Matt Corral at third. So
it's pretty much those two.
Kenneth Walker lost his chance at Heisman this past weekend in Columbus.
If he would have won, if they would have won, if they would have won that game, if they would have let him run the ball that game.
Henderson also lost his opportunity because he just didn't run as much.
He had 9 carries for 63 yards.
Not many yards. So it's down to, and is it Stroud or Stroud? Stroud. He has came miles from where he was at the first of the year to now. So, I mean, he's impressive. He is not as, what do you want to say?
Elusive?
I was going to say, Bryce Young just looks comfortable in the pocket. Stroud doesn't always look comfortable, but he looked comfortable this weekend against a very overrated
Well, why don't you ask the Ripper why that is? What happened in Week 3 that changed the landscape for Ohio State?
Well, honestly, our offense wasn't bad in Week 3. Our offense didn't lose us that game.
You started another running back in Week 3.
Well, true. We probably wouldn't have. Mayan Williams didn't play for 3 or 4 games. Even in our first game, everybody knew that Trey was going to be our running back. It was going to take him a little bit of time for the coaches to trust him, I guess. And it was probably a mistake, but
looks like a young Ezekiel Elliott.
Oh, faster. I think offensively we didn't lose that game. Defensively we couldn't stop.
I'll take that back.
So that was the issue there.
So Bryce Young's numbers are better than C.J. Stroud's right now. 72% completion rate versus 71%. 3,500 yards, 3,584 yards versus 3,468 yards, and then 38 touchdowns versus 36 touchdowns. 3 interceptions for Bryce Young versus 5 interceptions for C.J. Stroud. This weekend, Bryce Young is going to have an easier time scoring points against Auburn than C.J. Stroud is going to have against Michigan.
Well,
so he's going to throw up even more yards.
Auburn's coming to play defense. I mean, I'm not going to say Alabama's going to have an easy run. Auburn's going to come out there and
but Ohio State's going to have a hard time against the Michigan defense.
Nobody's putting money on that game because maybe the money line, because everybody knows the Iron Bowl is not an easy place to win. Yeah. I will just say that either one of those two can win it, but those are the two front runners, and that was the top.
One of those guys wins it. I guarantee that. I mean, that's the easy call. But I think that right now the edge goes to Stroud, and I'll tell you why. Because he has a three-headed monster. He has the three best receivers in the country, hands down.
That's true.
So
and that's
right on that comment. He has more supporting cast, so that could probably hurt him a little bit because it looks like Bryce has to do more on his own. I'm rooting for Bryce Young to win the Heisman and not C.J. Stroud, and this is why.
Sophomore, right? They're both.
They're both
CJ's a redshirt freshman.
Yeah, so
that's incredible.
Ohio State players that have won the Heisman have never won a bowl game, a postseason game. So let's go Bryce Young.
That's not
I'm
good
for Bryce Young.
But I think
There
you're
you
also
go.
going to toss one more thing in the fire, and that's that if Alabama takes a second loss, or if Ohio State takes a second loss,
they're both out.
no, they're not both out.
No, they're both out.
But if one team takes a second loss, the other doesn't. The other quarterback wins.
Sure, you were late, so you missed that conversation.
Okay, well, I missed that conversation.
Why are you showing up late,
But
Brookie
then I also
DC?
missed the
It was his son's
conversation that
birthday.
the game that you want to see
That's
is
a valid
Ohio
reason.
State's offense versus Georgia's defense, because that's the game that I want to see. And I hope that's the national championship.
I think that's good. I think that's what it's going to be. I think you're going to because we did a playoff run now.
And
Go ahead.
backing up on these receivers, who's Alabama's best receiver? Where did he come from?
Michi?
No.
Where did he come from?
Jamison Williams.
Transferred
from Ohio State because he couldn't get on the
So
field.
think if they had all four of them. Moving on.
We got to move on to the end of the show.
We got.
We've gone.
One more.
I
One more
cannot
time.
because we run out of time at 1 hour.
You got 50. Yeah, you got 54 minutes.
I'm at 55 minutes.
Okay, so let's just discuss one thing: college basketball, NCAA basketball. It's back, baby. It's back. Watch UCLA.
UCLA Gonzaga tonight.
Take the over, people. Take the over. I can't wait. It's back. That's all I'll say about college basketball. It's not important until January. Boom.
But I'm excited to watch it, baby.
If you listen to this far into the show, you might make some money on it. Come on back next week for more. What? You got
one more interruption.
One more interruption.
It's my weekly Syracuse plug. They lost to. Oh my God, they lost to Colgate this past week. Syracuse, baby. Go Cuse.
You guys in your northern team.
Come on back.
Bar talking
Sports. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, man, how can I help these guys out? Well, first thing you can do, subscribe to the show. By subscribing to the show, you'll be able to hear it every single week on your favorite podcatcher. Second thing you do, if your podcatcher lets you do it, give it a review and 5 stars. I know Apple Podcasts will allow you to do that. So give it 5 stars and a review. And then the third thing you do is hop on Facebook, type in Guys at the Bar Talking Sports. You'll see our group there. Join it. You'll love it. Best sports group on Facebook, guaranteed. Lots of good stuff going on in there, so check it out. And then come back next week for Guys at the Bar Talking Sports.